idea about soul, your real awareness, and the five bodies. I'm not sure I understand how the real awareness and soul, are they the same, or is soul something created as well as the five bodies?
Oh, well, soul's just an idea. Okay, soul's a label. You know, so is the real awareness, but it more defines it. In other words, you know, the corporation took on, and Paul used that too. Again, Paul used many things that already existed. The words like Ekankar and whatever, those are all, those were in India or whatever. You know, he used Chila and all these things, satsang. You know, again, he kind of put things together in a particular way. Again, you have to keep in mind he was in the United States, all right? So most people weren't familiar with a lot of these things. Some people were, okay? So it looked to be kind of new in the United States. The rest of the world, some of the world already knew about these things. And so the word soul, as it's come to know, look at the phases that it has went through. It's a label like anything else. Everything here is label. Everything in creation is created. What I've created is labels too, but they're a reference to the true reality, and you look at where the labels go. The word soul, or the label of soul, where does it point to? I don't use it. It doesn't point to the is, it points to God, doesn't it? It points to the God idea. Nobody knows who their gods are. They have an idea of their gods. That becomes the difference. And so your real awareness is the real you. That's that being of light, okay? We can only describe it accordingly, but you're invisible. And that's the heart of yourself. The five bodies are just a created occupancy that you have until you are totally aware and you do not need the five bodies anymore, until you recognize the reality of yourself to where you don't need these bodies anymore, you see? But in the meantime, you do need them to have this recognition so that you can not need them. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Yes. So I redefined it with the real you, the real awareness, U-tune, whatever. The real awareness is the best, simply because we are awareness. We are aware. And so when you use the word soul, it doesn't really define that. It doesn't really say anything. It's like, oh, I'm soul. Okay, so, what does that mean? All these corporation members, they're soul. They don't even know where they're at. So again, what good is it? Yeah, the real awareness, just the word itself, so defines things. Mm-hmm. It's your real awareness. When you talk to somebody, they've never heard that before. It's like, wow, what is that? Have they? They've never heard that before. They've heard the word awareness, you know. So I've added these things in because, again, for me, the way I see it, the reason that I've created certain words to focus on the is because I see how that becomes the best explanation for what I'm presenting. That's why I created. I looked at these things and I looked for the best way to work with the mechanics here to express that, you see? And it's just like a manufacturer will look for the best materials to use to create its product. And really, I've just created a product here. The product is simply something, the mechanics and the physical. Again, we need this. It's like when we were babies, we needed to play with blocks. You know, those were the first steps. We needed to feel it. We needed to experience it, you know, and how it worked. And we stacked the blocks, and then they fell over, or we knocked them over, or whatever it is. Or the blocks hit our leg, and we cried. All these things add up to where we are now. All these little things. And this is where, you know, every experience should be recognized and not take it for granted, especially when you have this knowledge now.
I was talking to the Islam people in the booth near me at the fair yesterday, and trying to steer them a little bit to their real awareness. They were talking about a lot of ideas that they had, and then I mentioned about dreams, and that Noah had dreams, and yeah, they sort of lit up. And then I said, well, you can have, you know, you have potential of being wonderful and aware, like these people that you're talking about. And then they just kind of like something came down and like, oh, we can't do that. There's restrictions that came into their attitude after that. But generally, they're very enthusiastic about what they believed and their ideas were. But then, like I say, I tried to steer them toward like, well, you have the potential here yourself, to do these things through your awareness and dreams, and they stuck to their ideas pretty well. They're very enthusiastic about them, but I could see when the clamp came down, the restrictions came down, when, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's because they've been taught restriction. See, they've been taught all the so-called glories of this individual, whoever it is, Jesus, Muhammad, or Buddha, whoever, Krishna, go on and on. They've been taught the glories of these things. But for them to aspire to that, no. They've been taught restriction and to be a follower and to, basically keep your place. Again, this is where the belief systems, the KEK systems, the governments of this world really, because again, politics created religion and vice versa. They're all the same thing. They have labeled basically Jesus as the Son of Man, only begotten Son. Okay, look at that phrase. So in other words, everybody else is just a bunch of struggling dweebs, okay? And that's basically your place. And that's drummed in different ways. See, it's a subtleness. It's like a subliminal attack on people to keep them as slaves. And you see it. See, you're testing it, and you see the reflection, and then look at yourself at the same time. Do you have these attitudes? Well, with the new presentation, I don't imply anything like that. There's nothing subliminal. Everything is out in the open. You're a being of light. You're a free being of light. That's what you are. And then when you look at the idea of soul, and especially the cryptic part where it was you have a soul, see, and where the church decided, well, to save your own soul, you must do this and you must do that. In other words, the church has decided the restrictions for you. And so when the idea comes up, oh, you are soul, guess what? Those restrictions subliminally are still there from past lifetimes. When you've been intimidated and ruined by the belief systems. It takes a lot to recognize that. You have to recognize those things within yourself that are hidden until all your worlds and universes are cleared out, you see. And they do hide, just like the little viruses in our computers. Every time we go on a website or something, all of a sudden we get cookies and viruses and adware and stuff. Well, we don't see it coming in, do we? We don't consciously see that coming in until we get the virus scanner or what have you, or anti-spyware. We stick it in there, and all of a sudden, all these things start to show up, and we didn't see them coming in. And it's the same. Again, people take this for granted. They don't look at the whole picture. Most people just look at the surface of things and think, oh, it's all okay. It's all taken care of. I'm fine now. No, it's never fine here. Creation is cause and effect. It's never fine. Cause and effect is going on all the time. Your house can look great, but guess what? The bugs are eating it. They really are. That's what they do. And so everything is happening all the time. We are in creation and cause and effect. In our minds, we think things are stable and okay. And one day we come home and say, hi, honey, to, we're looking for our wife in the house. And all of a sudden she's in bed with some other guy. But the whole time we thought, gee, everything is fine. And do people go through this every day? Every day. Or they'll show up for their job and all of a sudden they got their pink slip. Whatever it is, it's going to happen. Or all of a sudden during the middle of the night there's an earthquake, and all of a sudden your roof is 500 feet away because there was a tornado or something. Whatever it is, this is creation. Anything can happen. You can think in your mind that, oh, gee, I'm 30, I'm going to live to be 75. You don't know what's going to happen in the next moment in creation. Tell that to the people that were in Fukushima, that are on the in the astral realm right now, going through all their phobias because of that. They are ruined for lifetimes. They have to get through themselves. And most of them are innocent. And they still have to deal with it. That's how real it gets here. Wake up. Take a look at where you're at. This is a dangerous place. You're on a planet hurling through black space with other planets and meteors and radiation and aliens and everything else. But most people are dull. They're watching TV and playing their video games and carrying their cell phones around. Because they want to keep you stupid. And you decide how long you want to stay stupid. So, when I looked at doing the new presentation, I didn't want to use anything that had been used before. This was all brand new. This was the new you. This is the new you, but you have to make it new for you. You decide that. What a privilege it is to know the new you. Privilege, privilege, privilege. Look at the people that are still with the hue and the They're destroying themselves with the aliens. And they think in their minds that they're on the right path because they're only looking at the surface. I constantly try and point them to the real side. They don't want to see it. They would rather pretend that Harry's wonderful and he's doing a great job and he's our master. Well, again, it's a choice, isn't it? I'm trying to warn them. They hate me because I'm trying to warn them. They don't see the warning. Some of them eventually will. But I'm always grateful. I am so grateful to know all of you. It is my privilege to know you, to have done this, to struggle this far, and for you to wake up to have what you do. I'm the lucky one because I get to see it. I can't give that to anybody, but that's my privilege. Wow, I get to see this. I'm amazed every moment that I can see this. Me. Yeah. Because I don't think of myself as anything. This comes first. Life is bigger than me. It always is, it always will be. But you look at most of the people on the planet, and especially those that are in control, they think they know this and that. They think they are bigger than life itself. That's their decision. Everything equals itself. It's all cause and effect. Everybody places themselves exactly where they deserve. And so they will look good for a while. And the cycles, you might say, are stretched out. Some things come back real fast. Some things are stretched out. But overall, you might say, life is what it is, and things go accordingly because everybody is to get their lessons, because the overall reality is to recognize creation, why you're in creation, and then to recognize the is with the experiences that you've accumulated. But with that, you decide how you're going to do it. You create your own journey. And this is what the boys do too, but they stand together in a common cause to present how to become more aware. And so they love the adventure. They do too. They're like big kids. And they're wonderful. And they're sincere and real. We're so lucky to know them. Who else knows them? You need to recognize them. And for you, those of you that even know them or recognize them, however you do, lucky you. Because they're always there for you, but they're not going to live your life. You have to do that part. So people that are still chasing money, jobs, and whatever, I understand. It's hard times. We all have our challenges. But the only thing that's going to work overall is the heart of yourself being honorable and sincere with everything you do. Because that's how life is. The reality of life is like the sun shining. It is pure, and that's how it works. And when you recognize that and align yourself with that and have your life accordingly, guess what? Then your life is going to work. And eventually, it will work totally. It's so cool. Can you see it? You have to see it first.